अपना कम्युनिटी ये वो जगह है जहां आप अपने असली पोटेंशियल को एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं। देखो, सबके पास स्किल्स होते हैं, पर क्या आपके अंदर वो स्पार्क है जो आपको कामयाबी की ऊंचाइयों तक ले जा सकता है? अगर आप सोच रहे हैं जॉब चेंज करने के लिए लेकिन रेज्यूमे सेलेक्ट नहीं हो रहा, या फिर इंग्लिश में इंटरव्यू देना थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग लग रहा है, तो फिक्र मत कीजिए, यहां हम हैं आपके साथ, आपको सपोर्ट करने के लिए। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगी बेहतरीन कम्युनिटीज जहां आप अपने प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स को सुधार सकते हैं। चाहे आप एक्सेल, टैली, जीएसटी में माहिर बनना चाहें, या फिर आप खुद एक ब्यूटिशियन या डिजाइनर हैं, तो यहां आप अपने काम को शोकेस करके दूसरों को टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स देते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगा मेंटर्स का एक खजाना और बड़े इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का साथ, जो आपको हर कदम पर 1-to-1 गाइड करेंगे। यहां आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं अपने फील्ड या इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक ग्रुप्स, जहां आपको ऐसे कई लोग मिलेंगे जिनसे सीख के आप वो गलती ना करें जो वो कर चुके हैं। ऐसे लोगों की जिन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था एज एग्जीक्यूटिव्स एंड आर नाउ सक्सेसफुल मैनेजर्स इन देयर डोमेन्स, जो आपको आगे बढ़ाने में मदद करेगा। यहां आपको मिलेगा वो सही डायरेक्शन जो आपकी करियर को नेक्स्ट लेवल ले जाएगा। तो लेट्स अनलॉक योर पोटेंशियल टुगेदर। अपना कम्युनिटी में ज्वाइन करें और अपने सपनों की ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचने का सफर शुरू करें।
Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to today's exclusive session. आप सबका स्वागत है. If you're attending these sessions for the first time, let's start with a quick introduction. This part of Apna Community Exclusives in association with QFIS. It's a webinar series we have been conducting for the last couple of months. We host regular sessions on 7 p.m. on weekdays, Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. and between 3 to 5 p.m. on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, between 3 to 5 p.m. So we have covered a variety of subjects like product management, tech interviews, technical skills, upskilling, etc. The main objective of these events is to help you grow professionally, help you expose to professionals who are on the other side and have ample amount of experience. So today's session is about how to crack coding interviews at big tech giants. For this session, we have Saurabh with us. Quick introduction about Saurabh. With 11 years in tech, he's a senior software engineer at Booking.com in Amsterdam. He manages global partner payments for the fintech division. He previously co-founded School.com, scaling it to serve 50,000 students, and led AI and computer vision development as CTO at the startup. He has several years of experience as a mentor as well. We are glad to have him with us today. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for joining us. Before I hand it over to Saurabh, guys, a quick note. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to use the chat box. You can drop your questions there. If you're logging in from your phone, go to the in-call messages option. Please drop your queries in the chat box. We'll also allow you to unmute yourself so when the Q&A is happening, so that you can unmute and ask your question. समय आपका कोई भी सवाल कभी भी हो, आप चैट बॉक्स का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. आप अगर अपने फोन से लॉग इन कर रहे हैं तो आपको इन कॉल मैसेजेस का ऑप्शन दिखाई देगा, वहां जाइए और अपना सवाल डालिए. आपको समय समय पे अनम्यूट करने का भी मौका दिया जाएगा जब Q&A चल रहा है. So without further ado, Saurabh, I'm handing it over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Thank you guys for joining the call. I would try to make sure like you will get something benefits out of this call and try to apply for your maybe future or maybe preparing that the companies that you're preparing for. Maybe before even starting with the topic, I just want to align with you. Whether are you comfortable with only English, because there will be people from across different part of the country, or are you comfortable with Hindi and English kind of a mix language? Maybe if you can just put it in a text chat. Are you comfortable with only English or like English and Hindi? Okay, so I got it from Preetham, English and Hindi. ठीक है. Okay, so I'll try to use like maybe communicate in both English and Hindi. And yeah, I'll try to make it very simple. And let's start. Maybe I'll start sharing my screen with the presentation. But more important than presentation is you should be able to ask questions and clarify during the topic which I'm covering, and making sure that you will gain something out of this call. Maybe let me see like if I can share my screen. Okay, आप लोगों को स्क्रीन दिख रहा है? If you can, maybe if you can just put it in chat. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, I'll be keep checking the chat. So I will get some notification if there is any chat. Also, I will go through the slideshow parallel. Okay. So first of all, I'll give you my background. Uh, I have like total year of like 11 plus year of experience, and I'm currently working in Booking.com as a senior software engineer. And currently, I'm based out of Amsterdam. And in the next 1 hour, the topic which we'll be covering is how to crack coding interview at big tech giants. So I also came from like something similar background of yours. Maybe I'm actually from Agra city in Uttar Pradesh in India. तो मेरा जो इंजीनियरिंग परसेंट हुआ था it was in 2013 from VIT Bangalore computer science, and thereafter I work as a co-founder and like leading tech in one of the startup company for 6 years, and uske baad I work as a CTO for one of the AI based startup, and then thereafter for the last 5 years I'm working as booking.com. Maybe this is, and I have done mentored like more than 5,000 plus students. So students, जैसे आप लोग हो who are in like final year of graduation, and the students like who already have like few years of experience, and also like from 5 to 10 years of experience as well. So I have mentored more than 5,000 plus students across the globe, not only Indian student but also from students from US, Africa, and also from Europe. And yeah, this is all about my background. Now starting with the topic, which is a very critical one. I think आप लोगों ने starting career में बहुत face किया होगा. When you passed out or when you're in fourth year, it's very hard to get your CV shortlisted in the companies. I would say like if you are in third year, अगर आप third year or fourth year में हो, then I think you need to first focus on your portfolio first, instead of like preparing. Like you need to know like what is the criteria that recruiters are looking at. When we talk about big tech giants, so I'm not only talking about like say Google, Facebook, Amazon. I'm talking about all the other big tech companies. Okay, so let me also tell you one more thing. So you can ping me any question like when I'm speaking. So you should not wait for me to ask you for a question. You can feel free to put your question anytime. But the whole idea is there are different section of this presentation or maybe the topic, and I will be asking you some questions also, or maybe you will be asking me questions at the end of each section. तो पहला सेक्शन हमारा है कि how to get your CV shortlisted. It's very simple rule. Like I call it like a 5 second rule. How do you get the like capture the recruiter's attention immediately? Let's say as you, right, when you're given a CV, it should take you 5 seconds to know the candidate strength or candidate maybe the spotlight, like what he has done in the past and why he is suitable for this position. Because candidate recruiters go, let's say if you talk about big companies, they will be getting like companies like Google, they will get like thousands of CVs in a day. So उनके पास there are two ways for them to work. They have an AI tool. Currently, you must have seen like AI is groomed uh, at at a very skill level where people are using tools to identify CVs also. So if your CV is like not using the right language or maybe not covering the right aspect which is required for your job that you're applying for, it's likely a case like your CV will not get shortlisted. So 5 second rule में है कि you should try to spotlight maybe some of the things. The one important thing as you are in, let's say you are graduates or having a few years of experience, maybe 1 or 2 years of experience, you need to showcase your work. So what I meant by showcasing your work, जैसे कि there are many platforms where you can practice for coding. There are like HackerRank, LeetCode, Codeforces, and CodeChef. You must have heard these platforms if you have prepared for the coding interviews. So in a platform where you can start like having your portfolio, not having just portfolio, but also solve some like say compete in some contest or maybe solve some problems. At least maybe depending on like maybe 200 plus problems. So you don't need to solve the 200 problem at once. So your preparation plan should look like for 6 months. अगर आप third year में हो 6 or you have like 1 year of time. If you have fourth year, the 6 months of time is good enough. If you already have some, let's say you are already passed out, then it make 3 months of preparation is good enough. So try to create your profile. Choose one of the platform. Let's say Lead Code is one of them, which is good for uh, having your, let's say, for coding interviews at any big tech giants. You can find questions there based on different companies, different topics. And HackerRank and Code Forces and CodeChef is much more at the competing profile, like competitive programming. But it will help you, like if you have good rating or good, let's say, rank on this platform, you will get a call. So अगर मैं आपको अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बताऊंगा तो 2014 में, like when I was in working in a startup, so it was very small startup, like around 5-7 people. Then later on we actually scaled to 50 plus people. But at that time I don't have any big like any big company experience. I didn't have any very massive project experience. I was working on a very small scale level. But I got a call from Google London in 2014, and that is purely based on my HackerRank profile, because I was ranking around like 434 rank globally, and in India I have 112 rank. तो आपकी अगर rank अच्छी है in platform पे, you can easily get calls from big tech companies. Because so focusing and polishing your skill on, choose one platform and just go with it. So for me it was HackerRank, and then I have also solved like 500 plus problem on LeetCode now. So choose one of the platform like HackerRank or LeetCode. I would suggest अगर आप LeetCode is very much user friendly, and it has, then it will be. Uh, I think there's someone has. Can you unmute, maybe mute your microphone? There's a background noise. Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, this is like first, and the second is hobby project. So when you are in fourth year or third year, try to find like some of your passion around technology and maybe an idea, and try to club together and work on something, and try to showcase on your GitHub. So if you see your CV is just a description of a project, right? It doesn't have anything, let's say, proof of your work. Then it doesn't make sense. Then so the whole idea is like out of 10,000 people, how you will be getting into top 10. So you have to showcase your work. So try to push something live on some, let's say you can choose any free servers and push it there, and work on some hobby projects and you can put it live there. So those things will actually try to differentiate with other people. And when if you're working in a company already, then make sure what is the impact that you have made. So impact is like, say, if I'm working on a project, it helps the farmers to, let's say, one of the project, where we just take an example. If I work on a app which can help farmers to grow their, let's say, to grow their farming a lot better compared to the past, that is the impact. So describe the impact instead of like what your project does. So that should be there, but impact should be highlighted. So let's say from my experience when I was in startup, my product helped a lot of parents to know what is the weakness and strength of their kids. And for a school, it would help principal to know how the class is performing, how the class teachers are performing, how subject teachers are performing, and which is the right candidate to send for, let's say, physics Olympiad based on the data. So you can see like the impact is very much important inside the project. So impact and hobby projects and one of the coding profile, these three things are very important and should be at the top. Should be like it should be highlighted somewhere in the front page of your CV. And also professional LinkedIn profile. If you see article like LinkedIn is very much boom in terms of like people recruiters reaching out to the candidates. So LinkedIn algorithm also help recruiters to find the right candidate for a job description. So make sure कि आपका जो LinkedIn profile है वो up to date है, and it will have like all the right relevant content which you have in your CV. So LinkedIn is also your CV nowadays. So this is like one of the first part of this section. Does anybody have any question? किसी को कोई question है? You can just ping me. You can unmute and ask. So we can move to the next section. Okay, Preetham has mentioned, sir, I have tried lead code. I'm a BCA graduate. I'm feeling hard to solve the problem. What other things should I consider to? Okay, feel easier. Okay, Preetham, I will cover your question. I think the next section I'm going to talk about how you actually solve the problem on lead code. So I will cover that in the next section in 2 minutes. अगर कोई और क्वेश्चन है किसी का you can ask. You can just ping in a chat, or you can also unmute and ask. Okay. Meantime, I'll just go through the next one. You can just feel free to type. So after the CV thing, I think the next topic, important topic, is the interview preparation. I think so. Most of the student mistake क्या करते हैं? They try to learn from a various number of sources. So they will go through like YouTube channel. They will go through some website, Geeks for Geeks, and n number of resources. I think that is what is not required. Uh, if you stick to one or two sources, I think that should be enough to learn concepts. You need to apply the concept into practice. So let's take an example. For my case, like I was using MIT courseware, which is like one of the YouTube playlists you can see here, and it has like all the videos, and it's very straightforward. And also they're using very simple terminologies while explaining very complex algorithms. So I would suggest like MIT courseware is not hard, but when you feel like say you're not able to grasp the concept in one go, try to revisit the video again, use pen and paper like parallelly. So it requires kind of a you need to, this is a more of a like hustle initially for learning, but don't go through like n number of resources. So try to stick with the one. And a lot of people like of my friends like who work also like Meta and Google, they have not, they have also done the same thing. Instead of going through the YouTube channels and maybe Geeks for Geeks, but there is a large amount of content. You will get like frustrated, you will get lost, you will be like demotivated. And these are the two sources that I have feel it is still relevant. और अभी भी मतलब if you just go through these topics, you will not face like any problem जो आप solve नहीं कर सकते हो. So it cover all the let's say easy problems to medium and hard. If you build this concept solid. So this is the one. Okay, so let me start with Preetham. Preetham has asked the first question. Like lead code, like solving lead code problems is like very hard sometimes. So when you get stuck, like how to actually make sure that you should be good enough in that. So my strategy was like when I started lead code, or maybe like any not only lead code but also like any other problem solving platform, you start with easy problem first. So you can create, let's say, different topics that is required, and each topic you go through some, let's say, 10 to 15 easy problem. And it's okay initially. You can take like maybe 20 minutes or maybe let's say 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours even for a specific problem. वो उतना चलेगा. But when you move to the, when you slowly, you will see like down the line in next 10 to 15 days, you will be able to solve easy problem within a time. So then first you solve easy problem like maybe just solve like by looking at the solution, just solve your on your own. If you stuck, go through the discussion forum, the editorials, but try to solve at least 50 or maybe at least like if you talk about like one topic, एक टॉपिक के अंदर कम से कम लाइक से 10 प्रॉब्लम इजी सॉल्व कर लो. उसके बाद देन यू स्टार्ट विद अ टाइमर. टाइमर के साथ फिर उसके बाद इजी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना. Then you will be able to see like down the line once you solve let's say 20-30 problem easy problem, your speed will increase. You will be able to understand the patterns कि यहाँ पे hash map लगना है या फिर यहाँ पे queue लगना है. So there is a very standard way of thinking like कहाँ पे कौन सा algorithm लगना है. You will get to know, and I will get into that topic as well, like how to understand all the patterns. But सबसे important है you start with easy problem. Don't look at the medium or hard. First solve enough easy problem. When you are comfortable, when you see let's say this increase in the speed or maybe the timing of solving a problem, easy problem, that's the time for you to move to the medium. So let's say initial topic you can pick up let's say array. Once you pick up array, 15 problem easy लगाओ. And जब easy problem हो जाएगा उसके बाद next 15 problem with a timer. And then you will notice your speed might have increased. And then do the same thing for the medium one. Start solving under one topic, let's say 15 medium problem, then 15 medium with a timer. You will see the gradual increase. And while solving problem, you need to make sure कि इसमें कौन सा pattern use हो रहा है. Maybe कोई problem में queue use होगा, किसी में queue के साथ कोई और additional data structure use हो रहा होगा. Try to document it one sheet and it will be easy for you to revision. And once you do the revision, you can actually build that memory muscle for the problem, or for the like generic pattern that is required to solve the problem. So that's how, like, this is the strategy that I would suggest. uh, is it clear, Pritham, for you? Maybe you can just answer in a chat. uh, I will share more information in the next few slides. Okay, so Vikram Raj, sir, I'm working in SAP domain, so try try to transform my career in data science and data analytics field. Is good or bad for us? Please comment. I think, yeah. So SAP domain, I think it works very. It's a kind of a tooling knowledge that you require, and once you switch to data science, you need to be very good in. So see, think about yourself. Are you interested in data science? In data science is a field we need to learn a lot, and it's more about like research and also challenging in terms of mathematics. So if you're having that interest, then because it's not only the cracking the interview, you need to have that kind of a habit of reading research paper, try to understand, go through different blogs, like maybe engineering blogs, and see like how other companies are trying to simulate the same what you're trying to do. And then you need to be kind of a it's require more of hustle. But I think data analytics is very easy compared to data science. It only requires some mathematical understanding of statics, probability, and in terms of coding, it's like a kind of a scripting language, one of them like R or Python. So that will be quite easy to transform. But data science is a very vast field, and you might need like some kind of a preparation, maybe 6 to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year, to be strong, solid to crack coding interview in those companies, maybe good tech companies. But for data analytics, I would say 3 months should be good enough, because it's kind of a very fundamentals, and we know those fundamentals from like schools. You just need to brush up, and knowing a bit one scripting language would help you a lot. So you can see like what's your interest. If you're interested in data science, then definitely you can go for it. But yeah, it's definitely a good choice, because a lot of companies are moving to AI, and every company is growing their data massively year by year. So data analytics is very required, and even the data science. And is it okay, Vikram? If you have any other question, if you're okay with the answer, let me know. Just acknowledge maybe if you feel like I missed something, you can just ask me again. Pandit Jish, okay, Prashant. So you are graduate in BSc Mathematics. Should I join? I should join IT sector. Do you suggest this is my good suggestion? Yeah. So I would say, yeah, it's up to the one's interest, but yeah, there is a lot of scope in computer science or IT sector, because everything is like software driven nowadays, right? And most of the people like try to, because in the future the AI is something should be boomed, but software engineering will be a part of it, because AI cannot run without software engineering. So there will be a lot of huge scope of IT sector in general in the future. So I would suggest like, yeah, anybody ask a question? Okay, yeah. So yeah, but the thing is, in IT sector, if you are planning for mathematics in BSc, yeah, definitely it will be a good choice for you. But yeah, you need to invest some time in terms of preparation, and be very persistent uh, about your preparation. And yeah, but as I mentioned, like if you have like your profile, like something which is mentioned here, and like you have some projects, even hobby project, if you don't have practical experience, that's okay. But if you have very solid profile in one of the platform, you will be getting a call from big tech giants. uh, so that is for sure, I would say. So it doesn't matter if you're from BSc or if you're from any other specific domain. You need to have a solid fundamentals, and or maybe a coding profile, and that should actually help you to land a job anywhere. Let me know, Prashant, if it is clear, or if you have any other question, you can keep asking. Okay, so the next is like when you start with lead code. So you start with easy problem, then move to medium, and then to hard. You can, if I just show you the lead code, so you have the section called problems, and inside problems, uh, I think there is a paid subscription here, and there is a I think the normal one. With paid subscription, you can get like a topic. You can choose like array, or a specific topic. You can choose like companies, let's say Google, and then you also have option to select the easier problem. So you can select the easy ones, and then you can like if you're targeting a specific company, let's say Google or maybe any other company, you can select that and the topic and try to solve easy problem, at least 15 easy problems. Once you have done that, then try to uh, solve another 15 to 20 problem with a timer, and you will see and try to also create a doc where you can maintain a specific problem, what is the pattern that you have used, what is the time and space complexity. It will help you your memory muscle to relate the problems once you see a different problem with the same similar pattern. So this is, and I would also suggest kind of a revision. So try to do the revision like after every 1 week, like what you have done in the last 1 week. So that will give you much more confidence, because it's a very vast domain. Like for the problem solving, there are a lot of topics, but yes, you can always make sure that you have one sheet to keep track of everything. So that's how you can make sure like lead code, like how you can actually solve like efficient at lead code. The next is mock interviews, which is very important, because a lot of people, they are very good in terms of concepts, but they are not good in terms of interviewing, maybe the interviewing process. So there is a platform called Pramp. I can show you here. So this platform gives you, once you log in and create your account, it will give you the kind of idea of like you can schedule like a practice session with the, if I say like schedule a practice session, you can choose data structure as a topic, and you can practice with peers. So there will be a random person will be assigned. You can select the time. So you can see there will be a random person will be assigned for you, who will take your interview, and you will be taking their interview. So it will also, and it will give you the question that you can ask him. So there is a specific question that you need to ask, and he will get the question that you will not know in the, maybe during the assignment, during the signing of the session, but it will give you the feel of a real interview. So once you saw like had like few mocks, maybe let's say 10 to 15 mocks before an interview, you'll be very confident in the real interview. You can also choose your friends like who are also aiming to crack coding interviews at big tech giants. So uh, I think this is mock interview is very much important part of interview preparation. If you have a buddy or a friend, you can take like maybe after a week you cover one topic. उसके बाद आप लोग एक दूसरे का इंटरव्यू ले सकते हैं स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक पे. तो पहले you can try with easy problem, then medium, and then hard. So that's how you can master the problem, and also you can master like the interviewing part of it. Okay. Anybody have any other question? Preetham has asked, sir, I have one more thing to ask. I know Python, MySQL, DSA in Python. What are the things I have to learn to be a junior software engineer? Okay, so junior software engineer के लिए, I think you already know basics of, let's say, I think if you know DSA is much for the programming, maybe interviews, not in general in the company, but yeah, it will give you kind of a sense to use the right data structure also when you work in the code base. But apart from this, I think you need to know like how the application shipped. So if you're targeting, let's say, web development engineer, it depends on the role also. अगर आप टारगेट कर रहे हो कि आपका रोल सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर है जनरल, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए डेवलपमेंट कैसे होता है, टेस्टिंग कैसे होती है, एंड हाउ द डिप्लॉयमेंट वर्क्स, एंड द एंटायर, आई थिंक देयर इज, okay, there was a noise, okay, fine. So you need to know a complete cycle of a software development. तो पहला है कि how do you develop, maybe git की knowledge होना जरूरी है, or maybe if you work with GitHub or a big bucket. So those kind of platform you need to familiar with, and then also you need to know some kind of a deployment tool. If you have used any deployment tool like Kubernetes, Docker, so basic understanding of those will be required, and there are a lot of plenty of free resources available to learn those. So I would say कि एक entire cycle आपको पता होना चाहिए कि कैसे डेवलपमेंट होता है, कैसे डिप्लॉय होता है, कैसे हम टेस्ट करते हैं, एंड आफ्टर टेस्टिंग लाइक once it is go live, कैसे आप इसको स्केल करते हो. तो क्लाउड का भी थोड़ा बहुत नॉलेज अगर आपको पता है, तो यू डोंट नीड टू नो एवरीथिंग इन डिटेल, बट हायर लेवल कंटेक्स्ट होना चाहिए, बिकॉज यू आर जूनियर, सो यू डोंट नीड टू नो कि लेट्स से क्यूबरनेटिस को कैसे हैंडल करना है, हाउ डू यू हैंडल लेट्स से other part of it, system components. So higher level you need to know everything, or everything in a sense like you need to know like how the process works. बिकॉज अगर आपकी जॉब रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देखेंगे कंपनी के अंदर, इट विल बी मोर ऑफ लाइक यू विल बी वर्किंग अंडर सीनियर, and senior will be like creating kind of a base for you, and you will be working on a code base. But for you to know कि क्या अगर आप कुछ change करते हो system में, how it will affect the other services or other components. So it's good to know the idea of higher level picture of everything. Uh, Let me know if it is clear, Pritham, for you, or if you have any other question to ask. Okay, I'll move to the next one, which is the coding interview tips, which is very important, and it also comes from like all the big tech giants. So when you when you actually giving interview for the problem solving or coding interview, you have to talk through your thought process. इसका मतलब है कि let's say you have given a question, let's say maybe a very basic question like how to add two numbers, right? So you will ask कि वो नंबर स्ट्रिंग में रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, वो नंबर इंटीजर है, फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट्स है या बाइनरी है. So you have to clarify asking, you have to ask clarifying questions, and also you need to share your thought process. अगर इंटरव्यूअर बोलता है कि वो बाइनरी है, then you will think about okay 32 bit का है, 64 bit का है. So you need to be like clarifying questions along the way, and also share your thought process कि आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. Because why it is required, because when you work in the company, when you join and work for the company, it is very important to share your knowledge, right, with others. How do you think about like say working on this, like building this piece of software or this piece of service? So it is very much required. So something similar they want to test through one small problem. It can be a coding problem, or you can propose, and you have to propose like multiple solution, because हमेशा नहीं होता कि we know the optimal solution or we know the like say the right maybe the efficient solution. So it makes sense like अगर कोई brute force approach आ रहा है दिमाग में, you can share it. Uh, so these are very critical. These 3 points are very important behavior when you are actually giving coding interview. This is not applicable for any big tech giants, but also for any other startups, also the mid-sized companies, because that will give you your let's say your uh, interest or your entire thought process that is running in your mind. So be very interactive during the interview. That is very much required. And next is like write a clean code. When you write a code, make sure like if it is required, some common variables to use across different functions. So you can use a class or constructor. So make sure you write your clean code with a variable convention should be very semantic. What I meant by semantic is means like it will be human readable. तो ऐसा सोचना है कि when you're writing code, अगर कोई नॉन टेक वाला बंदा अगर कोड को पढ़ता है, then he should be able to understand कि क्या चल रहा है. So how they will know based on the variable naming convention, based on the function naming convention or the class naming convention. So it is very much required to write clean code, and it will give you higher chances. मान के चलिए कि अगर कोई दूसरा कैंडिडेट है जिसका कोड तो एफिशिएंट था, बट जो उसने कोड लिखा है वो क्लीन नहीं है, इट इज नॉट रीयूजेबल, राइट? तो अगर आप रीयूजेबल कोड लिखते हो, देन and your solution is also brute force, then you might have like good, you also have a good chances to get move forward in the interview process, because you care about readability, you care about maintainability, and your code is very structured compared to the other person. So it will also give interviewer insight कि इसके अंदर ये qualities तो है. Even though your problem solving skill might be not that good, but your coding pattern is really nice. So make sure you try to follow this approach, and even not only in the interview, but also in the mock interview, but also when you're practicing code on lead code. Okay, next है error handling. So when you write code, make sure कि आप base condition को handle कर रहे हो, boundary condition को handle कर रहे हो. जैसे कि अगर सिंपल ऐड करना है दो नंबर को, अगर एक नंबर इतना बड़ा हो गया कि दो नंबर को ऐड करते ही ओवरफ्लो हो गया, तो कैसे हैंडल करोगे उसको? तो ये सारे बेसिक क्वेश्चंस हैं, बेसिक मतलब स्टैंडर्ड है, एक प्रोसेस है जो आपको फॉलो करना होता है कोडिंग इंटरव्यू के लिए. लेट मी सी इफ एनीबॉडी हैज एनी अदर क्वेश्चन. नॉट सो फार. ओके, ठीक है. So this is for the coding interview tips, and the second is like most you should test your code thoroughly. You should use the appropriate pattern. जैसे क्लास हो गया या फिर आपका कंस्ट्रक्टर हो गया. अगर कोई वेरिएबल है जो कॉमन है, दो फंक्शन यूज कर रहे हो, तो उसको क्लास में डाल सकते हो. So you can think about some idiomatic construct. That means you need to also make sure कि कुछ भी ऐसा specific to the language नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर आप कोड लिख रहे हो, it will be very generic code. जैसे कुछ आप कोड यूज कर रहे हो और आपको नहीं पता कि ये फंक्शन मतलब इस लैंग्वेज के अंदर कैसे डिफाइंड होता है। मे बी लेट्स से यू हैव टू फाइंड एन एंगल बिटवीन टू पॉइंट्स। तो उस केस में इफ यू डोंट नो यू कैन राइट काइंड ऑफ अ वेरी बेसिक फंक्शन which and you can say like maybe uh, it will be like a boiler template that you will use inside the code. So don't try to like maybe clarify your code in a sense, like don't try to overcomplicate your code, and test thoroughly. Make sure corner cases are recovered. High dependency injection is maybe much more technical terms, but ideally you need to make sure your test your every function or maybe should cover all the specific tests and the base cases. There should be proper exception handling or optimal solutions. You need to identify the data structure and an algorithm for efficient solution. तो अगर brute force हो जाता है, let's say in an interview, in the first 15 minutes, then think about if there is an optimal solution for it. Because interviewer might or may not tell you about your solution is optimal. Because in some companies they try to see कि candidate अपने आप optimal solution पे आता है या नहीं. So maybe it makes sense. Agar brute force solution, if the first option or first solution that came to your mind is brute force, try to code that first and then think about optimal. Agar if you know optimal solution first, then try to code optimal. And also you can also propose like alternative solutions also. You don't need to write those code during the interview, but once you finish the optimal, you can also tell them like, okay, we can do in this way also. Let's say some of the problem can do with the heap, and some of them can be done with, let's say, uh, in general, maybe some other data structure. So you can also propose them. So it will give them insight that one problem can be solved, and the trade-off between two solutions. So this is more about the coding interview tips. The next is system design. But before coding interview, is there is anybody have any question regarding the coding interview? Okay, if not, then I can move to the next section, which is system design. तो सिस्टम डिजाइन इतना फॉर फ्रेशर्स में इतना पूछते नहीं है, बट देर आर सम कंपनीज बिकॉज राइट नाउ देर इज लॉट ऑफ competition, and I think agar because if you have like 1 or 2 year experience, then they might can ask you questions, maybe basics of system design. So you need to know the core fundamental of system architectures. So that's why like you need to know how the system is developed and deployed, and also like scale. So you need to know kind of a knowledge, like even though right now with the fresher, there are some companies they started asking questions on system design. So but प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग आपका ज्यादा ही फोकस होना चाहिए पहले, उसके बाद सिस्टम डिजाइन होना चाहिए, उसके बाद लो लेवल डिजाइन होना चाहिए. So system design is obviously like when you want to like master system design, I would recommend you a book first, Design Data Intensive Application. This is the book. There's a link I have given in the slide, which is shared with Apna team. So you can start reading that book. Maybe it's a very massive book, but its language बहुत ही simple है, very easy to understand. And this is the one of the book that is suggested by like all the big tech companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, Netflix for the interview. So if you want to build basic on system design, go with this book for the first. और थोड़ा बहुत जनरल प्रैक्टिस के लिए like you should also be good enough, like you should read the official documentation. Let's say there is a different a system design is what it's basically like your entire systems. You have some load balancers, you have some application servers, you have some databases, you have some queue. So you need to know like how these systems work together, right? Let's say if you're building application like Facebook, how will you build that? So these kind of questions that mostly came in interviews. So for that, you need to first understand like each piece of technology individually. Then you need to know कि yes how these technology fit together. तो individual के लिए I would suggest you to read official documentation. जैसे कि आपका queue में Kafka हो गया, तो you can just go and search like Kafka. And once you go to the Kafka, you can go to the official sites, which is Confluent, yeah, and read about it. Right, see the use cases and how Kafka works. So basically, you'll get to know everything about Kafka in general. I think the official documentation is this one, so you can just read it for this. So I would suggest A lot of people try to go through different videos on YouTube, uh, but if you actually अगर आप generate कर लेते हो habit को to read the official documentation, which is a very good sign for you to uh, let's say growth in your career. Because अगर आप किसी कंपनी में भी जाते हो, you have to read the documentation and implement. You will not get like the videos and everything. The official documentation is very much important, and this is the book that I would suggest. And then there are different tag blocks you can follow. Let's say Google has their research papers published, Meta has their engineering blog, Netflix also has, Uber also has. These are the four companies which are like very technical driven and has a lot of open source content. तो आप इनके ब्लॉग्स को फॉलो कर सकते हो. Just so I would suggest it should be like generating a habit. Let's say in the morning you can say like half an hour you will spend in reading something about system design. So you can just go to Meta and just search about like how they have developed Facebook, how they've scaled the databases on Facebook. So you will get everything. Let's say I'll take an example of let's say Netflix. So if I go to the Netflix in the morning, let me read like maybe I can just choose to like how this specific piece of but this is like ML related. But yeah, if it is like something specific to my domain, the job I'm applying, I will try to read their vlog. अगर आप ऐसी हैबिट डेवलप कर देते हो हाफ एन आवर में एक आर्टिकल पढ़ने का, यू विल सी कि आफ्टर लाइक से 3 months आपके पास कितने नॉलेज होगा सिस्टम डिजाइन का. So this is a part of a habit, and this is more of like preparing for interview. So try to do this, and then for system design interview, there is a specific template which is I've linked here. So any design system design interview covers like few things. So there is like you need to explain what is the functional requirement, what is the estimation, like. But I will not go into detail because I think it will not make sense for you. But the whole idea is for you to generate the habit of reading tech blocks and then go through this book, which will give you the in-depth understanding of everything. And then during once you like ready for the interview, you can just practice through this template and apply for specific design patterns. And the same thing you can actually reference through this grokking the system design online. It's a kind of a course, and it is also available free on GitHub. So this is like much more. This is required all for you to prepare for system design. But for you, I think if you're a fresher, you don't need to get into the deep of it. You just need to know very higher level. So I would suggest like watching, like going through these vlogs will help you to get the understanding of very high level for the system design component for specific use cases. So there are some famous one like how Instagram work, how the Instagram, like say, specific, let's say, real you need to build a real algorithm, how you will do that, how TikTok work. So there are different applications. If you cover like one, you can apply that learning in the other system design. So if you're a fresher, I would suggest just go through the tech blogs, get the higher level overview how things work. If you are like having few year experience, then I would suggest you going through this book. And then there is a grokking one. This is all. And this is another blog which you can just spend some time to read like every day. So there is many articles mentioned on this page. And there is a one more video that I have linked it in the presentation, which is like prepared, which is on my YouTube channel. You can also go through it for detailed like overview of it. तो सिस्टम डिजाइन में इतना ही है, और कोडिंग इंटरव्यू राउंड का वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड. अभी है लो नेक्स्ट एक सेट ऑफ राउंड जो होता है वो लो लेवल डिजाइन का होता है, जिसमें वो लोग चेक करते हैं कि दे विल गिव यू प्रॉब्लम कि आपको डिजाइन करना है लेट्स से एलिवेटर और डिजाइन करना है बुक माई शो, and they will ask you to write the code in terms of classes, objects or functions. तो लो लेवल डिजाइन में like अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं पता है कि आपको you don't have any prior experience, then मैं सजेस्ट करूंगा आप हेड फर्स्ट की बुक है उससे आप स्टार्ट करें पढ़ना, because that वो उस बुक के अंदर everything is very pictorially represented, so it will be very easy for you to connect the dots. It will be very easy also to actually follow along when you write the code. So this is a book for the fresher. So, and this is very important book. You can Google it like head first design pattern on GitHub. you will find the free PDF. अगर once you develop this, then उसके बाद next step you can go through some source code on GitHub. GitHub पे सारे मतलब बहुत सारे open source available हैं जिनका आप कोड एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हो. So you can start searching for let's say specific अगर आपने लैंग्वेज चूज करी है जावा, you can search for Java projects जो कि कंपनीज ने बिल्ड करके ओपन सोर्स कर रखे हैं. So you can see कि वो उन्होंने क्लासेस के स्ट्रक्चर, अपना फोल्डर का स्ट्रक्चर, आर्किटेक्चर कैसा रखा है. और उसके बाद नेक्स्ट जो एडवांस लेवल है वो है कि रिफैक्टरिंग गुरु. दिस इज द वेबसाइट जिसमें सब कुछ डिटेल में मेंशन है अबाउट द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ पैटर्न क्लासिफिकेशन एंड कैटेगरीज, पर वो बहुत ज्यादा डिस्क्रिप्टिव हो जाएगा. बट दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड वंस यू हैव लेट्स से 2 year of experience or something, और आपको अप्लाई करना है अपने प्रोडक्ट के अंदर में. So you can actually go through this one. So you can see there are all the design pattern. You can read about specific design pattern. But उसको पढ़ते समय ना उसको don't try to create like so much havoc or maybe इतना उसको हवा नहीं समझना है. It's a very simple thing. So you need to be, your learning should be very simple. और आपको हमेशा ट्राई करना है कि whether you are able to, let's say अगर आपने एक डिजाइन पैटर्न पढ़ा है तो how it is applicable in different set of problems. तो आपको वहाँ आपको you need to do much more analysis after solving a pattern. So design pattern is very simple. For fresher, I will suggest at first, once you are like comfortable with this book, go through some open source on GitHub. Then the refactoring grow. Well, this is much more at the company level. When you have like experience, you already work with, you need to work on let's say another application inside your company. So this is more on low level design. The second is practical application. जो भी आप सीख रहे हो उसको आप अप्लाई करो. Try to apply let's say build something small application and अपनी जो स्किल डेवलप करी है लो लेवल में उसको अप्लाई करके देखो. Yeah, so this is like continuous learning. Yeah, keep update your knowledge with new pattern and design principles. This is in general statement है, but more important है जो भी आप पढ़ते हो उसको apply करके देखना है. That's why hobby project which I've mentioned in the CV is very much important because वो आपको that will help like recruiter to showcase like कि आपको interest है, you are ambitious, you are passionate, and you love technology, right? So this is how like your learning should be. जो भी आप कर रहे हो उसको अप्लाई करो. Last is behavioral interview, which is the last one. But before that, if anybody have any question, feel free to ask. It can be like any, not only specific to let's say low level or coding interview. Maybe in general, अगर कोई question है तो पूछ सकते हो. Okay. Meantime, this is the last section. I'll just try to cover, and then maybe we'll be open for questions and answers. Then this is like behavioral interview. Behavioral interview में it is more of like how do you manage certain set of action. So I think previously behavioral interview इतना होता नहीं था, but nowadays it is very common in all the big tech companies, even for fresher. So if you apply in Amazon or Google, Facebook or Booking, this is like one of the very common interview. In this, how is like behavioral interview will look like? So they will ask you कि let's say you have given let's say a specific task and let's say with two people or let's say one people and the task uh, is XYZ. How will you achieve that? So it's more of like you have given a situation and you have given a task. So what action you will take and what will be the output, right? So because freshers को इतना experience नहीं होता, then they will not ask you question from the past कि how you have handled the situation. So for fresher, they will ask you if you have given the situation, how you will handle it. But if you have experience, let's say 1 or 2 years, then they will ask you question like, what was your experience? Like, is there is any situation where you are not agreed with your manager on a specific task or a use case? How did you handle the situation? So it's more about कि आप conflict को कैसे handle करते हो. So this is a behavioral interview, and you can just yeah, and also if you want to practice, जो प्राइम पे आपने कोडिंग के लिए प्रैक्टिस किया था सेम आप बिहेवियरल के लिए भी कर सकते हो फ्री में. So there'll be another person will be asking you some questions and you can be asking there, and you will see कि प्राइम पे जो लोग आते हैं they are also preparing for all big tech companies. So it will help you to actually connect with the people also, and then you can You can also like prepare well, and you will get the feedback immediately कि कहाँ पे weakness है, क्या आपकी strength है. So you for I think so. What you can do is you can prepare the responses to all the common behavioral question. So you can get this common behavioral question on like if you just search on Google, right? So it varies from companies to companies, but in general they are common. एंड मेक श्योर कि वो जेन्युइन हो, ऑथेंटिक हो, फेक नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर आप फेक करने की कोशिश करोगे तो बिहेवियरल इंटरव्यू में इट्स वेरी इजी टू कैच. तो एग्जाम्पल सिनेरियोस रेडी रखो, मे बी विद रियल लाइफ सिनेरियोस टू एनहांस योर स्टोरी स्टाइलिंग. अगर आप वहां पे फ्रेम करोगे अपने प्रॉब्लम को, अपने यूज केस को, तो यू विल बी गेट कॉट अगर आप उसको फेक कर रहे हो. You don't need to fake, but you need to be very genuine. But make sure you have storytelling about a specific question. So behavioral interviews are very easy to crack, but also very hard sometimes because if they drill down to a specific use case or situation, then they will be asking, there will be more questions from your answers. And communication is very important कि आप अपने articulate कैसे करते हो अपने thought process को, आपने क्या action लिया, क्या process था. तो it will also give them कि आप एक अच्छे leader हो, आप एक अच्छे colleague हो, you have a good listening skill. तो कम्युनिकेशन इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट. तो जितना आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे इसको करने को, उतना ही आप इस पे यू विल बी लाइक वेरी मच लाइक से यू विल नॉट बी एक्सपीरियंस, बट यू विल मच मोर आर्टिकुलेटेड इन अ सेंस कि आप इजीली आर्टिकुलेट कर सकते हो ना आंसर्स को ड्यूरिंग योर इंटरव्यू. तो प्रैक्टिस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आपको मन में सोच के अगर इंटरव्यू दोगे, दैट विल वेरी हार्ड फॉर यू टू क्रैक. एंड ऑल्सो रिफ्लेक्शन, लास्ट पॉइंट विच इज लाइक यू नीड टू नो लाइक कि ऑल द पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस जो भी है, जो आपको लगता है कि दीज आर द एक्सपीरियंसेस आर मैटर्स और हैव एन इम्पैक्ट, उन सबको यू कैन एक्चुअली राइट डाउन एंड देन ट्राई टू थिंक कि क्या क्या बिहेवियरल क्वेश्चंस में मैं यूज कर सकता हूँ इस सिनेरियो को. So I think this is all for the behavioral. So yeah, maybe any question, anybody have any question, you can ask me. I think this is all what I have for this today's call. But आपको अगर कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछना है in general, you can take the benefit of the remaining. I think we have 8 to 10 minutes. But yeah, let me know अगर कोई भी किसी को भी कोई क्वेश्चन है or you are facing any issues maybe right now in terms of preparation or cracking interview or somewhere.
Yeah, guys, like Saurabh said, please use this time. We have with him. Sorry, we have him with us for a few minutes. You can also unmute yourself. अगर आपको कोई भी सवाल पूछना है तो आप unmute भी कर सकते हैं. Anything like he said related to his journey, related to coding, related to interviews, job application. Please utilize this time.
हेलो
Yeah, hi Pritam.
हेलो सर. सर मुझे एक चीज़ पूछना था कि मेरा तो ड्रीम है सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर बनना, तो उसके लिए
हम्म,
सिस्टम डिज़ाइन जो आपने दिखाया वो भी
हम्म.
सीखना जरूरी है, वही
नहीं,
मतलब.
इनिशियली जरूरी नहीं है. अगर आप बिगनर लेवल पे जा रहे हो किसी भी कंपनी में तो वो जरूरी नहीं है. बट एक बेसिक लेवल पे पता होना चाहिए. जैसे कि मैंने मेंशन किया था ना कि आपको डिप्लॉयमेंट कैसे होता है, टेस्टिंग कैसे होती है. अब आपको ये इतना अगर खाली बेसिक पता है कि यू डोंट नीड टू नो कि जैसे कि मिलियंस ऑफ मल्टी मिलियन यूजर को कैसे हैंडल करोगे, 1 बिलियन यूजर कैसे हैंडल करोगे, तो दीज काइंड ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड इन द फ्रेशर लेवल. बट अगर किसी भी कंपनी में टारगेट कर रहे हो फ्रॉम डिफरेंट डोमेन, तो ये पता होना चाहिए कि प्रोडक्ट अगर कोई सॉफ्टवेयर है वो बिल्ड कैसे होता है. जैसे हम लोग गिट यूज करते हैं कंपनी के अंदर बिकॉज एक कोलैबोरेशन टूल है, हमें कोड भी सेंट्रलाइज रखना है. उसके बाद डिप्लॉयमेंट होता है तो कुछ पाइपलाइंस होती हैं, तो वो टेस्टिंग टूल्स होते हैं. तो वो सब बेसिक्स मतलब एक फ्लो पता होना चाहिए फ्रॉम डेवलपमेंट टू डिप्लॉयमेंट टू लाइफ और मेंटेनेंस. अगर वो उसके अराउंड टूलिंग पता है, यू मतलब आपको एफिशिएंट होने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट एट वेरी हाई लेवल इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
And there are people like who are like from different branches like civil or even for 2 tier 3 tier cities who are working at big tech giants. So ऐसा feel करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि if you have this kind of background it is very hard to crack interviews at even let's say Google or even any other company like Netflix or Tesla. So फंडामेंटल स्ट्रांग होने चाहिए और कंसेप्ट क्लियर होने चाहिए. कम्युनिकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट और प्रैक्टिस करना चाहिए. मतलब जितना प्रैक्टिस करेंगे उतना ही आप शार्प हो जाएंगे उस चीज पे. Okay, I think Siddharth, if that's that, I think if anybody, I think most of them questions are cleared, then I would be like we can actually make this call over.
Yeah. So guys, just a final check. Anyone, any questions? कोई भी सवाल कुछ भी हो पूछ सकते हैं.
सर और एक चीज मुझे पूछना था कि मैं तो सर पाइथन सी और माइस्क्यूएल में अच्छा से आता है. और मुझे
हम्म.
क्या जावा सी प्लस प्लस ये सब में फोकस करना चाहिए या फिर पाइथन में ही टिका रहना चाहिए, उसको और स्ट्रॉन्ग करना चाहिए?
नहीं, आपको पाइथन में ही करना चाहिए. देखो अभी क्या होता है ना, बिकॉज आपका एक्सपीरियंस आप ट्राई कर रहे हो स्पेसिफिक डोमेन, बिकॉज आपके क्वेश्चन था ना पाइथन डेटा साइंस वाला और डेटा एनालिटिक्स वाला. तो आप अपने डोमेन को ना स्पेसिफिक कर सकते हो. मतलब डोंट ट्राई टू गो फॉर लाइक एवरीथिंग. जस्ट फोकस ऐसे डेटा एनालिटिक्स में जॉब निकालना है एक अच्छी कंपनी में. तो उसके लिए आपको चाहिए होगा कि मैथमेटिक्स थोड़ी बेसिक स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए. डेटा एनालिटिक्स का कोई भी कोर्स कर सकते हो आप यूडेमी पे जो हाईएस्ट रेटेड कोर्स हो. और उसके अलावा फंडामेंटल कोडिंग इंटरव्यू के लिए आपको प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा डेटा स्ट्रक्चर करते हैं, क्योंकि वो तो एक हर कंपनी के लिए फिल्टर हो गया एक तरीके से. और बाकी आपको लैंग्वेज में बस पाइथन पता होना चाहिए और थोड़ा बहुत लाइब्रेरीज हैं उनका नॉलेज होना चाहिए. जैसे डेटा साइंस में आपको नंपाई के बारे में पता होना चाहिए. तो जस्ट सी कि आप टारगेट कर रहे हैं किसी कंपनी को, एक्स कंपनी को, तो उससे ऊपर अगर कोई वाई कंपनी है, जैसे अगर मैं टारगेट कर रहा हूँ माइक्रोसॉफ्ट को, देन आई विल प्रिपेयर फॉर गूगल, तो इजीली माइक्रोसॉफ्ट निकल जाएगा. तो ऐसे आप अपनी डोमेन के अंदर ट्राई करो कि आपकी कौन सी बेस्ट कंपनी है, उनका इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस क्या है, how hard question they ask, what they're looking at. It will be very easy for you to clear the companies which are lower than that company. तो उस माइंडसेट से आप तैयारी करो और यू डोंट नीड टू नो लाइक एवरीथिंग. सो मे बी जस्ट फाइंड डाउन कि क्या क्या आपकी जॉब रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है जिसको अप्लाई कर रहे हो, क्या स्किल सेट चाहिए उसके लिए, वो आप प्लान करो और जस्ट वर्क ऑन दैट ओनली.
ओके सर.
Great. I think we're ending on a good note. So with that, guys, since there are no more questions, we'll be concluding today's session. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for joining us today and for sharing your expertise with us. I believe everyone found this session useful. Not only the live one, also people who will be watching the recording, it will be very useful for them. Thank. So sorry. Thank you everyone for joining in. Quick reminder, please do fill the feedback form. आप जो भी है यहाँ पे जाने के पहले feedback form जरूर fill कीजिएगा. Please do fill it. It really helps us. It really helps us plan the next sessions and also helps the mentors prepare next time as well. Uh, I see no entries. Please do fill it. You can also visit the Apna website where you'll find the recording of this session and also the other sessions that we have organized in the past. You can also check upcoming events and register for them. If you're part of the Apna community, just comment interested and you can see all the event announcement posts there. As mentioned earlier, we'll have these sessions every day. Tomorrow we have at 7 p.m. I hope to see you all there. Thank you again so much, Saurabh. Have a great day. Good evening. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. See you then. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.